Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet, and welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where you get an extra healthy side helping of gravy and biscuits. Oh, almost some gravy and biscuits. I hope you all are doing well. By now, you've figured out that my usual partner in crime, Irate Bear, is not here yet. He should be along after a little while. He had told me earlier that he had some things to do and was going to be late to the stream. So at the moment, you have me, and I'm sure you can deal with that, because if there's one thing that the old man knows how to do, it's talk. Um, so before I get going, I'll give the usual plug. Please like and share the stream, because YouTube's not going to do that. And if you have the extra shekels and you feel like you just want to throw them at me, who am I to stop you? There are three ways to do that. There's Super Chat, and there are links to my Streamlabs and Patreon in the description. So there you go. I hope everybody's doing pretty good. Who we got out there already? We got Functional, Angry Illinoisan. Hey, Maddie, what's good? Musy, what's going on? Vanilla, good to see you. Cigar chomping penguin, deck train, trucking bear, necrosol, all the usual, furry kitten, all the usual names and so forth. Glad everybody could take time out of their busy day and check up on what the old man has to say. Angry Illinois says, "Good afternoon, Bloodwing, in some pain, but good. I hope you're well." I feel you. I know how that goes. But I'm doing pretty good. Had an extra long nap. That's why you may have noticed that I didn't get the stream up. Usually I like to have it up 2 hours ahead of time. So by 12:30, the stream will be up, ready to go. I didn't do that today because I was asleep, taking a nap. Naps are wonderful. They're one of the best pleasures in life, to take a midday nap. It just something about them. Cigar chomping penguin. I'm far from busy. Work doesn't start for me until 6 p.m. Oh, so you work the second shift then? Uh, Done that too. Never quite liked the second. Always preferred the day shift, going in the mornings and getting off in the afternoon. And my second would be the overnight shift. It's hard to get anything done if you have a family with the second shift, I find. At least for me, it always was. Um, for Kitten says, "I've just finished my tea. Nice big portion of curry and rice and chips. I'm now replete and in cigarette and chill mode." Well, good on you. Good on you. Makes my poor little Pop Tart that I have pre stream sound pretty sad. But I had a little bit of the hungries, and that was there, and it's quick. Um, Kyler, morning. What's this morning? You feel, when that big orange fiery ball in the sky is low in the east, and the birds are chirping and there's dew on the ground, morning. Uh, but yeah, I hope all of you are doing really well. And functional Trump question mark. Are you asking if that's what the title's about? I'm not sure, but no, if that's what you're asking, it's not about Trump. Not really, I don't guess. Of course, according to the far left, everything's about Trump. Woke up this morning and it was raining. It's Trump's fault. Blondie says, "I just woke up and I'm already ready for a nap." Many's the day that's the way I feel. Uh, Kyler says you're joshing me. I've never seen that. Unfortunately, I see it every morning, at least through the regular Monday through Friday, because I have to get up at 6:45 in the morning to go pick up my granddaughters to take them to school. So yeah, I get to see that early morning hours every day, whether I want to or not. Uh, but excuse me, something distracted me here. But yeah, uh, glad everybody's doing well, and thanks for coming out. We have 37 watching now, and I figured that's pretty good since I was late getting the stream up, so people probably weren't sure if it was going to happen or not, and so forth. But once you start sharing it out, maybe people will get wise to it and come on over and listen to what we have to say. And shortly, at some point, at least before the stream is over, Bear should be here to help me out with it. I hope so, because it'll be a little awkward if I have to take a bathroom break and nobody here. You guys, I have to listen to dead air. Oh my gosh. I might come back from the bathroom and everybody left. Where'd you go? Uh Blunny says early morning to me means I need to go to bed. I feel you. I worked the graveyard shift for 8 years. Uh, when I worked at Federal Express, and I would get home about 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 to 5, and of course in those days my children were much younger, so I'd cop a couple hours sleep and then get up with them to get them ready for school and yada 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 the whole deal. Kyler says they tell me I was born at 5:26 a.m. That would be the last time I willingly greeted the day that early. Logie Mad Hatter, good morning. Um, Even though it is 2:38 in the afternoon here. Oh, there's Bear in the chat. He says I'll be along shortly. Well, take your time, dude. Take your time. I got this. I can talk till the cows come home. Uh, Musy says, I could invite you beforehand on the days he's going to be late. Yeah, I know that, but honestly, I wanted to see how well I done on my own. Obviously, it works better if you've got somebody to work off of, and my particular humor, because it is a bit dry, does work better if I've got somebody to bounce it off of. But I sometimes I just got to prove it to myself if I can hold this up on my own, and I believe that I can. Um, Bloody says you're doing fine. Well, thanks, sweetie. I appreciate that. But yeah, was up early this morning. Done my duty. Went and got the granddaughters and took them to school, and then come home and after a while took me a little nap. I was just so exhausted. I had one of them nights last night where I was in bed by 11:30 at night, but I know I seen 1:30 a.m. come and go. I just could not get to sleep to save my life. I tossed and turned and flipped and flopped and done cartwheels and stood on my head and all kinds of crazy stuff just trying to get to sleep. And so I know I was up at least till 1:30 a.m. And like I say, get up at 6:45. And even for me, that's just not enough sleep. Uh, there's you've heard the old saw that the older you get, the less sleep you need, and that is very true. I've found that to be true, but I need at least six. At least 6 hours. If I can get by on a lot less, but I need six if I'm going to at least feel good during the day. Uh, You've got a couple of years yet. Do you need someone else to hold it for you? I know, right? I know. Um, so Few things in the news today, but we'll get to the news after a while. I know some of you are asking, and Bear already asked, "What's the title about?" It's mental health, stupid, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later. Uh, Kyler says a good fap session puts me right to sleep. Just an idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Seriously, I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Uh, One of the things sometimes that it wasn't the case last night, but one of the things sometimes that keeps me from going to sleep is I'm the only one in the house overnight now. From the time my wife goes to work at about 8:15 in the evening until she gets home at about 6:30 in the morning. What do you mean, Kylie? You don't believe me? Come on now. Uh, I'm the only one in the house. Now I'm a big, strong guy, and I'm not afraid of much. But when you're the only one in the house, sometimes the old brain plays tricks on you. And my house makes a lot. It settles. You know, it's getting older. It 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 makes funny noises, you know. And when you live in a place, we've lived in the same house for 15 years now. When you live in a place a long time, you get to recognize the noises. You know, a certain pop happens, and you're like, "Oh, that's that board in the hallway. I know what that is. Wait a minute, I'm the only one here. What the heck?" And usually I don't, but every once in a while, that it'll get me nervous. You know, my the back bedroom where my daughter and all my grandkids used to stay, the door has been closed. Uh, that and I haven't really had it open since they've been gone. The door to that room's been closed, and I could have swore I heard someone moving around in there. So that got me a little bit nervous until I went and checked it out. It was nothing. It was nothing, probably just the wind blowing around, but um freaking as you get older, it also becomes like a cold industrial diesel engine, takes ages for it to get ready, and then runs for ages. Fap session can be knackering. I can neither confirm nor deny that. But yeah, the noise really wasn't what kept me awake. I just couldn't fall asleep. One of the reasons is even though I have healed quite nicely and continue to heal from my surgery, when I lay on my left side, which is where the incision is, the left side of my groin, it gets a little uncomfortable. And that sucks because that's the side I almost always fall asleep on. Now, I'll end up on the other side, of course. I'm a very restless sleeper. Um, but yeah, it's just a little, it doesn't really hurt. It's just uncomfortable. It gives me the, and a very uncomfortable feeling. Um, but it's getting better. Little Rex, what type of stream is this? Well, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. For instance, right now it's just me talking. Usually I have a partner with me, but he's running late today. So at the moment, I'm just talking with chat, seeing how they're up to, and then we'll get down to the business of the day. Um, so yeah, it's a box of chocolate stream, if you will. Excuse me. Take a drink here. I've been doing so much talking now. Mm, get some of that good coffee in me. Oh yeah, and we'll chase that here with some Mountain Dew here very shortly because that's just what I do. Uh, but less fattening, Faithless says. Yeah, yeah, it is less fattening. You know, unless you take. You know, I always start the stream with uh some kind of food that it's like. And like today, I said gravy and biscuits. So if you take my suggestions and make the foods I talk about, it might not be a little less fattening. Because I am a redneck and I do love greasy, fattening food. Code Red is the best. I like original Mountain Dew. That's just me. Been drinking it pretty regularly since the 70s. So, yeah, you might say I'm a little addicted. Although I do keep myself to one bottle a day. 116. What is it? Oh, they can't even give you an even number. It's 16.9 fluid ounces, a day. Sometimes I go over that, but I do try to keep it to that because I realize all that sugar and whatnot's not too good for me. And I am getting older, so when I get a chance, I should take a little better care of myself. On how to get any suggestions on how to get through an MRI? Neckersall asks. Just relax. When I done mine here, what was it, a couple of months ago, I just relaxed. And if they shoot you with the dye that they did me, just understand it's gonna burn like fire. You're gonna feel like you're on fire from the inside. So just relax and if you can, Faithless is right. Take a nap. I know it makes a lot of loud noises and so forth, but if you can ignore that, just take a nap. Other than that, it's really not a big deal. I mean, it's just time consuming. Don't open your eyes in the tunnel. Angry Illinoisan says. William Bruce says, I'm at Alcatraz Island right now. Oh, cool. I've always wanted to go visit Alcatraz. One thing you all may not know about me is that one of my guilty pleasures, I'm not saying I believe in all this stuff. I'm just saying I like to watch it. Guilty pleasures are ghost hunting videos because they just, they make me happy. They do. They make me happy. Some for different reasons than others. Some of those crews are just freaking idiots. And so I laugh at them. But I think it's because just exploring old places like that just has some kind of appeal to me. Now, I'm not in any kind of physical shape to go tromping around in some ruined old building anymore, but wished I could because I think I would find that interesting. So yeah, Alcatraz is pretty cool. So I was kind of wanting to wait till Bear got here to do this because he likes stories about my grandson, and then we'll probably get to the news here in a minute. Furry Kitten says you need to talk to Bear about Derek Cora on ghost hunting videos. Okay. Alcatraz would be cool, but you have to go into San Francisco to get there. Ew. Yeah, just be sure you don't step in any piles of poop. Oh no, Bunny says I'm out of coffee. Who wants to go on a Starbucks run with me? Screw it, I'll just take y'all with me on my phone. There you go. Just take us with you, because Lord knows you can't be out of coffee. No, that's a fate worse than death.
I would turn up and you'd be talking about coffee, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, where's my chuffing lighter?
I don't know.
Sorry, be back in a second, mate.
Will you look at that, folks? He just gets here and then takes off. Will you look at that? See how he does me? But yeah, Junkie, touring old asylums does sound like fun to me.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, hey up. How's it going?
It's going well. You?
I didn't get done what I needed to do. Pain in the ass. I'll do it tomorrow now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you
Is what
could have
it
took the
is.
time to do it. I had this. I had it. I got you, fam.
Don't ever do that again.
Now you officially are one of my children, because that's what they're always telling me. If I come up with something somewhat current and say it.
You're right, mate. How's it going? You good? Good day?
Oh yeah, not too bad. Had a really long nap. That's why I was a little late getting the stream up. But
Mhm.
yeah, it felt good because I didn't sleep very well last night, so I just really had to, or I wasn't going to make it to the stream today. I was sitting here in my chair going,
Mhm.
kept waking myself up snoring.
Oh, sometimes you need a big boy sleep.
Yep, cigar chomping penguin, bunch of coffee addicts around here. You got that right. You got that. I've often said, uh, I'm not proud of it, but the truth of the matter is that I've been smoking for about 47 years. It's a long time, but I still think that I would easier give up my cigarettes than my coffee. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think neither one was going to be easy, and I have no plans of giving up my coffee. Hey, Pat, but I do need to give up the cigarettes here soon, and but I think it'll be easier to give up the cigarettes than the coffee. I just feel like it would.
I don't know about that.
But Angry Illinoisan says I have quit smoking for 8.5 years. Good grief. Good for you, man. Good on you. Keep it up.
I'm just trying to grab a screenshot of this freaking petition
Oh.
without me doxing myself. See, like, if you go to change.org, obviously you have to sign up to sign the petition.
Right.
Unless you delete your account,
Uh-huh.
you get emails asking you to sign certain petitions.
I got you.
In fact, I'll just open it up. It'd be better to do that way. Actually, no, I better not do that. It has my full name there.
Pat, you can shill your stuff anytime you like in the chat. You have an open invitation. You go ahead. Just chat. Be sure to go watch it after the stream. Okay.
Let me read this petition to you, Mr. Wing.
All right.
The petition is to lifetime ban from standing for elected office for those who promote rape or violence. Evidence shows that on social media, when women face repeated threats of rape and sexual assault, Black and minority ethnic people are disproportionately targeted with hate speech, violence, and abuse. Women candidates at local and national level are particularly targeted. We know that this is deterring some women from standing, yet some of those responsible for issuing these threats have then gone on to stand for election themselves. Surely anyone... let me finish. Surely anyone who issues threats of rape or violence or who incites hatred is not fit to stand for elected office. Yet our law currently permits it and only disqualifies those with a criminal record on grounds of bankruptcy or corrupt electoral practices, re political donations. This means candidates with a track record of abusive conduct can still end up on the ballot paper. By inviting the electorate to vote for them, we are endorsing and legitimizing their conduct. This has to change. We, at the Fawcett Society, are calling for a lifetime ban from standing for elected office to apply in these cases. It is time to defend our democracy and promote equality, not hate.
Okay.
There is so much wrong with everything I just read there.
Yeah, they done everything they could except mention his name.
Yeah.
They avoided mentioning his name, but it's pretty obvious to anybody in the know who they're talking about. Poor Sargon.
I know.
You know, I've had my issues with some of the things he's done or said, or you know, like the joking question I thought was probably a bad idea, but you know, nonetheless, it's still a joke.
Yep.
And yeah, I figured this is what would happen. I really did, though, when he announced he was running for a political position, that his YouTube past would come back to haunt him.
Yeah, of course. Well, of course, that's what they do, isn't it? You know, they don't like you, so they dig up your past.
Right.
There is so much wrong with this petition.
So I take it you're not going to sign the petition?
No, I'm not going to sign the petition. I'm a little bit disgusted by that, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just get it back up again. Where's it gone now? There we are. Okay, so let's go through it slowly. Okay. I think it's worth doing. So they're looking to ban people from standing for elected office for those who promote rape or violence. Now, we're not entirely sure what that means, because we know why this was started. We know who they're talking about. They're talking about Sargon, and of course, Sargon said that he wouldn't even rape Jess Phillips.
But in their backwards way of thinking, you know, they're that means that he would, even though he said he wouldn't. You know,
if you're saying you wouldn't do something, is promotion of that thing. And might I remind the good people of Redneck Radio that Jess Phillips threatened to stab Jeremy Corbyn in the front should he ever mess with the party. Now, she was obviously being hyperbolic. You know, what she really meant there is that she'd probably go after him and try to get him removed from his position through the power of democracy. But seeing as we're taking things literally, well, I mean, Jess Phillips promoted violence. So yeah. Can we ban her?
Yeah, of course.
From her position and ever running again?
If we use their own rules, sure.
Yeah.
Bodacious T, I hope you're joking, because I'm highly arachnophobic, as I've mentioned many times. I wouldn't even release my army of genetically enhanced spiders at her. And that brings up images to my mind that I really don't want there. Thank you very much.
Spiders are horrific. Alex, why don't you file a report against Phillips for threatening cut Corbyn's dick off? Context doesn't matter, UK law. Yeah, but the thing is we can try to use their own tactics against them, but that doesn't really work.
No, it just comes off as looking bad and petty.
Yeah, I'll probably be laughed at, if I'm honest. Don't forget, they're above it. So there's so much wrong with this. Like, evidence shows that on social media, women face repeated threats of rape and sexual assault. Okay. I'd like to see that evidence. Black and minority ethnic people are disproportionately targeted with hate speech, violence, and abuse. Well, I mean, you can't do violence on social media, I'm afraid. What are you going to do? Retweet them to death? That's a bit. Hate speech, of course, we are the land of hate speech. The United Kingdom of hate speech. I'm not sure why they brought up BAME people, but okay. Women candidates at local and national level are particularly targeted. We know that this is deterring some women from standing. Well, to be fair, politicians get a lot of shit. They always have done.
Yeah.
A lot of grief from the public, from the media. If you can't handle being dogpiled on Twitter, then you're probably not going to be able to handle being a politician, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, and yellow journalism and mudslinging has been a part of my country's politics for the entire 240 years that we've been a country. And in the grand scheme of things, we're a pretty young country, so I can imagine elsewhere.
Stuff like this drives me mental. Yet some of those responsible for issuing these threats had then gone on to stand for election themselves. Of course, when they say some, they just mean Sargon.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that's the main object of their distaste there.
Yeah, it's obviously it's that one neckbeard off the internet that they're terrified of. Surely anyone who issues threat of rape or not raping, or violence, I don't think Sargon's ever threatened to not do violence against somebody or do violence against somebody. I don't know. Or who incites hatred. That could mean anything. Is not fit to stand for elected office. Yeah, our law currently permits it and only disqualifies those with a criminal record. So it's like, okay, so incitement to hatred, right? Well, you better grab that super chat.
Yeah. Thank you, James Colley, for the donation. Good morning, Bloodwing and Bear. Have some cash. And that makes me think of something real quick. You guys notice that I don't say how much you donate. That's because I know some of you really don't really want to be bragged on in that way. I would probably be the same way. So since I don't know who or what, I just don't announce anybody's amount. But every amount is appreciated. Thank you, James.
So with this, if a ban was to come about, there's a very it's a wide net, the term incitement to hatred, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because different people have different standards when it comes to that. I mean, hell, you could criticize Islam, and that could be incitement to hatred. You could complain about immigration being too high, and that could be considered to be incitement to hatred. And in that case, they would single-handedly destroy UKIP in one go.
Oh yeah. Data wasteland. I would not rape you. I rape Bear and Bloodwing. Yeah, that's okay, Data. I wouldn't rape you with Bear's pecker.
I'm offended. I am offended, sir. That's such a wide net. They could take out just in like a couple of British UK parties by doing that. British political parties. Yeah. Surely anyone who issues threats of rape or threats not to rape or violence or who incites hatred is not fit to stand for elected office. Jeremy Corbyn, didn't he attend a terrorist funeral and invite the IRA to the House of Commons?
I don't know. I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, our law currently permits it and only disqualifies those with a criminal record, which I think is fair. This means candidates with a track record of abusive conduct can still end up on the ballot paper. Well, you're gonna have to define what you mean by abusive, because saying that you aren't going to do something isn't really abuse. You know. No. I need to look into this further. I'll find this bitch on Twitter.
Yeah, and Kyler made a point earlier.
Oh my God, it has 32,880. Sorry, 32,000. Oh my God, it's going up. 32,835 signatures.
But Kyler made a point earlier. If you're going to be in politics, you need a thicker skin, right? Yeah, I mean, exactly. You do, because the hate's going to come from somewhere, and there are other professions that if you're going to be a YouTuber, you're going to need a thick skin.
Yeah.
Trust me on that. And other things, but yeah, it. I don't know what to tell you, Bear. It gives me a headache when I try to figure out the way that they think, honestly, because my brain just don't work that way.
It's just it's driving me mad. Like they're not doing it because they're offended. They're doing it because they just don't like him.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the only reason why they're doing it. It's political posturing. It's a tactic.
yeah, it is. It is, but it's a tactic that doesn't often work. Again, look at 2016 in this country. A lot of the reason that I feel that Trump got elected is because the Democrats' campaigns were so nasty and so negative. Deplorables, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't like that, and they're going to push back. And the way that it's looking here, it's heading the same direction again. It's going to be a lonely 2020 for them around here if they don't get their act together.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Isn't Biden going to be? Do you reckon Biden will be the one who goes up against Trump?
I think there's about as good a chance as that as any of them. Mayor Pete keeps having a good showing here and there. He scares me a little, and I can't exactly put my finger on it, but he scares me. But he's appealing to a lot of people at the moment. Maybe it's the fact that he's gay. I don't know, because that matters to them. It's what you are, not who you are to them. Oh, black. Well, we need a black president. Oh, he's female. Well, we need a female president. Oh, he's gay. We need a gay president. Never mind what their politics are.
Yeah, never mind what kind of person they are.
But when you come in, not to change the subject, but to change the subject, when you came in, I was getting ready to tell a story about my grandson.
Oh, okay.
The one I call Bulldozer. I've talked to you loads behind the scenes about Bulldozer. And
yeah.
His real name is Benny, and he often says things just out of the blue that just crack everybody up. We call them in our family Bennyisms.
Bennyisms. I like that.
There's this called Benny. If you use the term Bennyism in our family, everybody knows what you're talking about, because he can come up with the most hilarious things sometimes.
Yeah.
And he does it innocently. He doesn't even think about it. So yesterday was his birthday. And we finally got through on a voice call to him just before my wife had to go to work last night. And as usual, when we call them, they're all acting up, they're wrestling around and everything, just showing off for the camera. You know what I mean? And Benny was sitting there on the couch, and his sister was sitting on him and squashing him. And he's hollering, "Help, help." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do, Benny? You're up there in Michigan. I'm down here in Indiana. What do you want me to do?" He goes, "Help, help. I need mental support. I need mental support." Now, this boy's 9.
I need mental support.
Mental support. Oh, he's a character. He's a character. I love them all. And, you can't have favorites when you have kids and grandkids. You know that, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, one of them will just click with you extra special,
Yeah, and, I know what you mean, mate.
And Benny's that way with me. Love me some Bulldozer, but yeah.
As you do.
Blunny says, sounds like my kid. If he's anything like Benny, he keeps you in stitches constantly. That boy just is always coming up with something funny. And he doesn't really mean to all the time. It just comes out. It just comes out. It's like the time, I know Bear's heard this, and I've told it before, but Benny wants to be a paleontologist, person that studies fossils and dinosaurs and so forth. And
Yep.
he knows what the word means, since he was in first grade, and knows how to pronounce it, which amazes me. But I was asking him one time, this has been some time ago, Benny, do you still want to be a paleontologist? Because he's just nuts about dinosaurs. And he says, well, I don't know, Papa. I don't know. I've been thinking about it, and I'm not sure. And I said, well, why, Benny? What's changed your mind? He goes, well, what happens when I'm digging up dinosaurs, and it's a girl dinosaur? Ooh. Oh, the way kids think. But yeah, anyway.
Love it. Love it.
So I know you were curious as soon as I posted the stream, what's this title about?
Yo, old man, what you doing?
Yeah, he hit me on Twitter almost the second it hit YouTube. Like, what's with the title? But so I guess now's the time that I'll fill you all in on that. Let me get the story open. It's a story that has to do with the recent Colorado school shooting. Most of us have probably heard about. Been another school shooting in Colorado. But here's the story. Colorado students walk out of school shooting vigil after politicians take the mic.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
Students in Colorado stormed out of a vigil Wednesday night for the victims of this week's school shooting at STEM School Highlands Ranch after two Democratic politicians took the stage and called for gun control, according to local news reports. The two Democrats who spoke at the vigil were Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, who is running for president. Imagine my shock. Aren't half of them running for president? It seems like to me. And Representative Jason Crow, whose congressional district includes STEM. STEM school students walked out of a vigil tonight after Representative Jason Crow and Senator Bennet spoke, tweeted Kyle Clark, an anchor with 9 News in Denver. Students said their grief was being politicized. They later returned, took the mic, and some said they didn't want to be used to promote gun control.
Oh, good.
Yeah. About 2,000 people packed a high school gym Wednesday night to remember 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo, who was shot and killed trying to tackle one of the shooters at STEM School Highlands Ranch on Tuesday. And while we're there, I'll pause for a minute. That kid's a hero. He's a genuine hero.
Yes, he is.
Put his life on the line to save other people's lives. And yes, it cost him his own life, but my hat's off to him.
Yeah, Matt, the lad's a hero. That's what he is. He's a hero.
Authorities have credited Castillo and 2 classmates with stopping the attack. 8 others were injured in the shooting. According to the Denver Post, some of the students who walked out of the vigil on Wednesday night were chanting mental health. The Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, which helped to organize the vigil, later released a statement apologizing to the offended students. We are deeply sorry any part of this vigil did not provide the support, caring, and sense of community we sought to foster and facilitate, and which we know is so crucial to communities who suffer the trauma of gun violence. And that's the end of the article. Wasn't a very long one, but I often pick on today's generation. It's a favorite pastime of mine to pick on them.
Well, you are a mean old man.
So. I am a mean old man. I am. But it's things like this every once in a while that gives me some hope. That there is some hope in the world. That these young people realized what was going on because they saw right through it.
Yeah, it did.
Because they called it exactly as it was. These politicians were already trying to politicize it into a gun control issue. And the fact that some of them got up and walked out chanting mental health, with the implication being it's not a gun control issue, it's a mental health issue, which I have always said it gives me some hope in this generation. Kyler says, well, I'm off to work. Have a great stream, everyone. You have a good day at work, Kyler.
See you later, mate. Have a good
one. But yeah, I mean, in this day and age, we're on Twitter. We see, what's his name? The kid everybody's picking on that got famous off of the Parkland shooting, even though he really wasn't a part of it.
David Hogg.
Hogg. Yeah, we see Hogg and the different ones on Twitter and so forth, and we're like, what the heck is wrong with this generation? But then things like this come around, and I have at least a little bit of hope. B Junkie says one was a tranny. Mental health is a given. Yeah, one of them was a female to male, transitioning female to male with male pronouns. They were 16 years old. So I don't know how tighter gun laws would have helped that anyway, because a 16-year-old isn't supposed to have a gun. And it's my understanding that the guns used both were illegally possessed.
It's almost as if these guns were obtained illegally.
Yeah.
And that gun control wouldn't stop it.
Yeah. But yet they were really quick to jump on that same old bandwagon we hear every time one of these things happen. And don't get me wrong, folks. School shootings are a tragedy. They are an absolute tragedy. And we've got to figure out what's making them happen. But it's not gun control. It's mental health, stupid. These people have issues. So yeah, that's why the title.
I see. I'm a lot less inclined to agree with the mental health angle on the argument, to be honest.
Oh,
yeah. Doing that stigmatizes mental health, mate. Is just. I just don't agree that's the case. If it was, you'd have a lot more of them. There's a lot of people in Western society that are suffering from depression, anxiety, and various other forms of mental illness. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that you have to have a few screws loose to do something like that. But I don't want to blame it on the medication or depression or mental health.
Well, no, I'm not saying that it's the medication, and I'm not saying that the depression or whatever problems they have are the main cause. Lots of people suffered from depression. I've suffered from depression.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't go off shooting up schools.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not getting my panties in a twist, mate. I'm just saying I just disagree.
I know. But there has to be, as you say, a screw loose. Something has to be wrong upstairs for them to get to that point where they think that is acceptable. And we have to, as a society, figure out what it is. We have to figure out why these kids and why these morons think it's okay to shoot up schools or whatever they're shooting up. It is definitely not a gun control issue.
No, I don't think it's a gun control issue either. Yeah. At the end of the day, criminals get guns.
Yep.
I can't think of any like major instances like this where the gun was bought legally and registered. Obviously, they're kids, so they couldn't have got them, surely. Well, I don't know. Like, how old do you have to be to own a gun in that particular state?
18, I believe. And the older one, one of them was 18, one was 16. Might have been old enough. I don't know. But it's my understanding that even his weapon was obtained illegally.
Yeah, of course. No, it's not the drugs, for fuck's sake. It's not antidepressants. It's not SSRIs. It's not antipsychotics that do it.
No, because it's gone on for far too long for it to be that. Um, it does tend. I personally, I think it's an overall outlook from the world. I mean, and we've all seen the change. We've all seen the change. Well, we've just been talking about a story about Sargon, where some of these people have probably honestly convinced themselves
It's not
that
Ritalin either, for God's sake.
uh,
Do you even know what Ritalin is, Data Wasteland?
uh, you know, where you've got people that have honestly convinced themselves they're being oppressed because of a joke, you know. So we've seen the change. We all see evidence of the change that's happened in Western society. I think has as much to do with it as any. And if I were to take my guess, it's because they're so thin-skinned. And why are they so thin-skinned? Because they haven't been allowed to fail.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, to be honest
Oh,
with you.
well, yeah.
Bad parenting style. Again, not being allowed to lose, not being taught how to control their emotions and things like that. Really, I don't blame like mental health as a whole. I think that there could be something to it, but it's certainly not the case. I don't blame the meds for it. If that was the case, you know how many kids are on antidepressants and friggin' ADHD pills? A lot, right?
Yeah.
If that was the case, there'd be loads of school shootings.
I mean, like I said, we see a lot of it. Like Maddie says, there peer pressure, bullying, the skin, ignoring when they ask for help, low self-esteem. It's a lot of issues. It's a lot of issues. There's not any one issue.
Judafine brings up a fantastic point, and it
Yeah.
is something that we can blame at least some of these school shootings on, or mass shootings in general. And of course, that's the fame aspect.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Some of these kids develop friggin' incel attitude. I don't know how that happens. Because they're kids. I don't understand how kids can develop that kind of attitude.
Yeah, well, they're like I said, there has to be something wrong in their way of thinking, that they think that that's the kind of being famous that they want, that they need, that's acceptable. Thank you, James Colley. I'm under the opinion that it's bullying. Kids who feel they can't fight back see a point and click equalizer. It would be something else in combination. That might be part of it, but I was viciously bullied in school. I mean, viciously. Every bully in the neighborhood had to earn their wings, so to speak, by beating me up. Because I was a little scrawny nerd, for many years. And I was viciously bullied. I wasn't allowed by my parents to fight back, and all of that. And I didn't turn out shooting anybody up. I did get my revenge, but in a different way. And in a way I don't recommend to any of you, but I became one of my school's biggest dope dealers. So all these bullies that used to bully the crap out of me ended up buying their pot from me.
It's actually Bloodwing, guys. He's been selling drugs to the kids, and narcotics are sending them mental.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that, bullying probably plays into it, as well as a lot of different things play into it. I don't think there's any one answer to the situation, but it's definitely not gun control.
No, I don't think that's the case.
And kudos to these kids for recognizing that. That it's not gun control, and that these politicians were just using them to politicize their agenda.
Well, I love the fact that I'm sure some of those kids have different stances that they've already developed at the age that they are. I just love the fact that they all recognized that they were being shilled to by politicians, that their situation was being politicized, and they decided to walk off. you know, I'm sure there were probably some like anti-gun advocates amongst those kids, but they took the opportunity to walk away, you know, and that's awesome, man. I'm proud of them kids, man. Proud of them.
Thank you, Princess Unicorn Nipples, for the donation. No comment, but for the donation. It's appreciated. Thank you. Zombie Taste, did you double charge your bullies? No, but let's say that I might have had my thumb on the scale of a few of them. We'll just leave it at that.
Bloodwing curb stomped them all. All of them.
Yeah, I got my revenge my way. I didn't go shoot up the school. I didn't want to kill anybody. You know, what was that going to solve? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Put me in jail
or get you shot.
Yeah,
to death. Yeah.
And for me, that just wasn't worth it. Now, like I said, I do understand mental health. It's been some time ago, about 9 years ago, but I went through a year of suffering terribly with clinical depression. I mean, bad, real bad. And fortunately, in my case, the first medication they came up with to treat me, and that along with counseling from people in my church, helped me. And I was only on the medication for about a year, and then I was able to get off on it, of it, and I'm fine. And I'm the Bloodwing you know today. And the funny thing is, prior to that point, I didn't believe in depression. I was one of those people that thought, it's just a bunch of put on, bunch of sissies. Suck it up. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, I'm very proud of them kids.
Yeah.
What drug is that, Tyrone? You didn't say which drug it was. I asked you which one it was. And if you become a zombie, do you think you're capable of shooting up a school then?
Yeah. Did you double charge Jeremy Mayfield? Well, since I know who Jeremy Mayfield is, but I've never met him. No.
No, but bodacious tea, antidepressants have been shown to work for a lot of people.
Yeah, that along with counseling, folks. If you're having trouble dealing with life, you know, and you're severely depressed or whatever your issues are, seek help. Seek help, because there is help out there.
Absolutely,
they can help you. Now, I tell you, recently on Twitter, something that's been bugging me, and this may fire up the chat. I don't know. As I said, I get depression. I've been through it, and I know how crippling it can be. I mean, I didn't want to do anything but just sit in the middle of the floor, literally sit in the middle of the floor and cry. It's all I wanted to do, you know, through that year. And but I look on Twitter and I see people, you know, the ones, and we don't need to call out any names or anything like that, but everything's always bad. Oh, I hate my life. Oh, I hate where I'm at. Oh, I hate this. And why am I even alive? And blah, 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 blah. And I just want to reach out and smack them upside the head and say, shut up, man. You know, you need to find help. Going on Twitter and crying about how terrible things are ain't going to help you. Ain't going to do it. What that is doing, and yes, Straight Says Mill, I do remember back in the 80s when a teacher held the classroom hostage. I do. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember the event. All that is just, you're looking for attention, and you're looking for somebody to tell you, it's all right, honey. It's okay. You'll be okay. And I'm not sure that's going to help you. You know, you need to be finding.
That won't. It won't help you.
Yeah. Twitter is not a replacement for a professional. It's just not.
If anything, social media can contribute to it in general. And that's what I was planning on making a video about today, YouTubers and mental health.
Yeah.
I'm having one of them days today. I just don't want to sit in front of the camera today, I guess. So I'll probably do it tomorrow now. But I suppose I may as well talk about it right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Doctors prescribe psychotropics for people with anxiety and depression, not just psychotics. Well, I never said psychotics. I said SSRIs. SSRIs aren't psychotics, and they're not psychotropics either. They're serotonin inhibitors.
And perfectly fated delusions. That's my outlook. He says 90% of them are faking because it gets them sympathy points. Yeah, it gets them attention, and they think that's the way to get it.
Yeah, social media. I mean, of course, when I say social media, I'm talking about it from the aspect of a YouTuber. Although, don't get me wrong, even if you don't do YouTube and you spend far too much time on Twitter, for example, and arguing with people in comment sections, especially in our corner of YouTube, because let's face it, guys, all of us here, like, we all get into these political and social arguments, like all of us do at some point, whether it's in the comment section or whether it's on Twitter, or somewhere else, and you spend too much time doing that, and that can cause something called disassociation, where what that basically feels like, it doesn't feel like the world is real to you. I've experienced it, I'm fairly sure anyway. Like you get in your car and you're not sure whether your surrounding is real, and like you can't seem to get to grips with the world around you. It feels like there's two of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
And you're not sure what's going on. Like, you're a little bit confused, and you can't like concentrate, and the world doesn't feel like it belongs. I suppose that's what I get for spending far too much time in my office making videos, live streaming, and arguing with idiots on Twitter. And of course, this can happen to anyone from any genre, really. It can happen to many. I've seen it happen to different YouTubers. There's a guy that I watched yesterday called Crimson Studios. He's a YouTuber with 17,000 subscribers. He's in the commentary genre, not this genre. I'm talking about the big commentary genre. And he did a video yesterday, and he used another YouTuber as a case study. I can't remember the guy's name. I will get you the link, guys, so you can go check it out after the stream. And this guy just lost his friggin' mind over a period of 3 years. And like, okay, so that's from the perspective of a YouTuber, so it's a bit different. But like, he built up an audience. He built up a large following on YouTube, large following on Twitter, probably Instagram and the rest. And I guess like either the build up to that or the fear of losing all of it, combined with spending far too much freaking time amongst that social media and having to worry about the content that he makes, broke him.
Yeah,
it effectively broke him. And obviously that can obviously affect people who don't make content as well, if they spend too much time, not enough time in the real world, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Bluntly Blondie puts it in the probably the best way possible. I think that been there, Bear. It's like you're floating above yourself, watching yourself do stuff. Yeah, it's like that. It's really confusing, and like you try to like knock yourself into the real world, and it don't work.
Yeah,
like I've been in the car, right, and Vanilla Bear's gone into the school, or whatever, to get the younger one. I've been sat in the car slapping myself around the face. But I was all right, I was all right, but it can happen that I don't know who said it in the chat. I did see someone say that. There we go. Furry Kitten, disassociative episode. And this is where we can all learn from Dave Cullen, guys. Seriously, this is a guy, and also Dankula as well, by the way, with his recent video. Take mental health breaks.
Yeah,
from
absolutely. Absolutely. And medication alone is not going to do it either. You have to have a support system. You have to have, whether it's professional, preferably a professional, a professional health um, person, mental health personnel, or, through your church or through your community. It's a combination of the things. Medication in and of itself is not going to do it.
In terms of treating yourself for depression and anxiety, there's no one cure-all.
No, everybody's different.
Everybody's very different, especially me. Like, meds just do not work at all on me.
Yeah.
But probably because I have ADHD as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's like me with, I've raised 3 kids and I got 10 grandkids, and you can't use the same punishment per se for all of them, because it doesn't work. What works for this one doesn't work for that one, because every kid's different. So, in the same vein, everybody that experiences mental health issues, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever it is an individual case and has to be handled as an individual case. And most of us, I don't know about you, but I'm not a mental health expert. So I don't know how to fix me all the time.
Yeah. And this is one of the first things that I do. And I can't sit here and make recommendations on how you attack your personal mental health issues, because I'm not a freaking professional for a start. I didn't go to medical school, folks. Obviously, I'm not Dr. Bear. I do have a lot of experience with mental health, though. And also everyone's different. And of course, there are like 100 mental health issues that have overlapping symptoms.
Yeah.
So you don't ever try self-diagnose. Always go see your doctor.
Oh, no.
But what I would do is I would always recommend that when you go see your doctor, try to steer clear of medication, because a lot of doctors, especially in the friggin' UK, will just dump something like citalopram, which is a very, very cheap SSRI, which decimates your libido, by the way, folks.
Yeah. Like I said, I was very, very fortunate. I mean, it took me a long time. You know how stubborn I am, Bear.
I know.
It took me a long time to look for help.
I'm just as stubborn as you, really. I won't go outside.
It took me a long time and my family was begging me, please, get help, please get help, because they knew this was not me. This is not my normal, because I had previous to that. And since I got over it, I was able to just pick myself up by my bootstraps and move on, because we all get depressed. We all have issues. We all have hard times. It's how we deal with it that separates us.
Oh God, number 1 mentions trazodone. That shit is awful. Those are old school antidepressants, guys. Don't do it. They what they do, they knock your ass out and they make you feel like shit. Just don't do it.
I was very fortunate in that I was in my GP, general practitioner's office, for a regular checkup, and he got to the end of the checkup and says, "Is there anything else you want to talk about?" And I thought, okay, if I'm going to, now's the time.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I've been really depressed. And he talked to me about it, but he left it up to me. He asked questions and he said, do you want to try this? Or do you want to try something else? Are you willing to try this medication, see if it helps, or what have you? Instead of saying, okay, we're going to put you on this. And this is what he talked with me instead of at me, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, it ended up working. After a year, I was able to get off of it. I've never been on it again, and I've been perfectly fine ever since. But yeah, everybody's different. But the same thing applies. If you're having issues that you can't deal with, seek help. Please go find some help. Don't go on Twitter telling everybody that sees you how much you just want to end your life and how bleak and dark everything is, because it's not. It's not.
Don't get me wrong. Like, in the past, when I've been like, especially last year when I was really down and borderline friggin' suicidal, what I would often do is, as one of my sort of kind of like coping methods, would be to like start up a live stream and just talk to the audience about it.
Yep.
I wouldn't sit there and threaten to kill myself like some of these YouTubers that you see every so often now, but I spoke to them and it made me feel better, you know.
Yeah, it's been, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, folks, and I've already said I'm not a mental health professional. This is just an old redneck's opinion. If a person is constantly claiming they're going to kill themselves publicly, those aren't the ones you really have to worry about. You know?
Yeah.
They're probably not going to. It's just an attention ploy.
Yeah, you're a lot more likely to, in my experience anyway, the people that are likely to do shit like that, like if you know that they're already dealing with shit behind closed doors, if you see them lose their freaking mind and like get super like angry, then, you know, that might be, you know, a warning sign.
Yeah,
you know,
people that really want to kill themselves, because we see it all the time. You know, a person will commit suicide, and then you have all the people come out of the woodwork saying, well, I knew them and I never suspected. I never knew anything was wrong with them. I just can't believe they committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people, in other words, the people, in most cases, you know, you can't say all, but in most cases, in my experience, the people that are really going to do it will just do it. Trick is to know them well enough to see maybe some of the signs before they get to that point, because we don't want that, guys.
It could be a number of different behaviors, I guess. It's not so much, or it's not always all the quiet ones. It's not always the loud ones and the aggressive ones. It's you just have to look out for that behavior that they don't normally exhibit. You know, normally.
Yeah. And while we're on such a heavy topic, I now have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. I don't mean to leave you with that, Bear.
No, it's fine. I can talk about mental health all day, mate.
I will be right back.
Alrighty. Guys, as well, on Wednesday, I've got my my first men's mental health group. Obviously, me and my buddy are leading the group, and I think that the first meeting should do well. One of the people that's coming is concerned me a little bit. He has several issues, and one of them I never even heard of until recently, so I had to do research into it. I'm so proud of this community. Are you being sarcastic, Jack? Thank you very much, Bloody Baron. I appreciate that. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm a big advocate for mental health. I've got videos planned on Irate Alex for mental health, and hopefully they will help people. I'm hoping that people will look at it and take something away. Cryptic for the $2. Thank you so much. Crabs who off themselves are shellfish. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I've got a couple of videos I'm looking to release on Irate Alex. I was meant to do one today, but it's one of them days again, boys. 4 days without uploading. It's just, I guess it's a little bit of burnout, I suppose. I was going to do a video today talking about YouTubers and mental health and the detriments of social media. I've got one. I'm going to create one case study video on a celebrity who killed themselves. I'm not going to say who yet, but I'm going to try to create something that will do that particular person justice, and I'm hoping that you guys will take something away from that as well, and at least one more about how I think that the general populace should approach mental health. Crypt, I remember that bit. It was from that lady from YouTube Rewind who was really annoying. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm so proud of this community. You know, the people you should be proud of on YouTube are people like friggin' Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Game Theorists. You know, all the people who raise money for causes. You know, who are in genres that just get abused by the mainstream media and YouTube's algorithm. They're the people you should be proud of. Hey, Irate, would you like a list of overlooked anime from the 1990s and early 2000s? Well, I did give you my Irate Alex Twitter account, mate. I'd rather you not send them to Irate Bear. I use Irate Alex for like anime, and obviously my second channel.
Yeah, he tries very hard to keep the two separated, folks. So
I did get that super chat, mate. By the way, I did read it.
oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, it was my buddy Cryptic. Crabs who off themselves are shellfish. Oh Lord. Yep, that's Cryptic.
Yeah, that's what I said, dude. Got to split and get the show together. See you later, Irate Prostate.
Yeah, see you, buddy.
You can't identify mental health just by looking at someone. Absolutely. Seriously sick people come in and get discharged the same day, all day. They're released back into the public with little change. Yeah, this is the issue, and it's one of the issues that we have here in the UK as well, man. We have a bit of a mental health crisis. The NHS is just underfunded. And I don't think Misa would mind me speaking about this, but when she was taken in after she attempted to take her own life, the way they treated her was disgusting. They just basically left her in a bed for a few days before she was actually ever visited by the mental health team, you know. And when she left, there was no aftercare or anything like that. I already did Demon Lord. Would you pay attention, man? Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate that. Just to search Irate Alex on Twitter, mate.
Yeah, we have very much the same issues here in the States. The state of our mental health, whatever you want to call it, it's not good. Often people are reintegrated into society when they shouldn't be, and that's simply just to make room for more beds. You know, make room for more people. And yeah, it needs an overhaul.
I mentioned this, I think, on stream the other day. Last year I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and I attempted to do some shit to myself, and Vanilla Bear, bless her, in her panic called the police, and she knew to call the police and not the ambulance service, because our police are actually better at dealing with mental health than what our ambulance crews are. And they came along, they calmed me down a little bit, but when they took me to a accident and emergency, you guys call it ER, they just dumped me in this like obviously curtained off ward area, and like I was ready to kill someone, mate. I was very confused. I was angry. I was just all over the fucking place, mate. And we were there for what, 2 hours, just waiting. No sign of mental health team anywhere. I just walked out.
Yeah.
And the medical staff knew not to get in my way as well.
I hear you.
Yeah, so that urgent kind of care, I suppose, as Maddie mentions there, you know, it's just not there, dude. It's just not there. And I think someone who was it who mentioned institutions? Jack Gunsky. The thing is with institutions and the I assume you mean institutionalizing somebody. I forget what we call it here in the UK. It's called something different here. Section. We call it being sectioned. When you're sectioned, they take away some of your human rights, and they don't do it lightly, and it's not a pleasant thing to go through. Not that if you get to that stage, guys, go for it, because you will get the treatment you need if you are obviously, in an absolute, state in that. But it's not a nice thing to experience.
Yeah,
because they take away some of your human rights, and you don't have a lot of choice in the matter,
going through that in a little bit different sense, but going through that a little bit now. My dad, my brother-in-law, and I, for years we've tried, you all know, or most of you I think by now know, that my dad is suffering from dementia. And which makes him and it's a strange form of dementia. It's a very high functioning form. He knows what day it is, he knows who's president, but he hallucinates. He things that aren't real. And for years, my brother-in-law and I have tried to get him to give us power of attorney, and he won't do it because he swears we're just trying to get his money.
Yeah,
which is funny because he's offered me $10,000 to just write a check for $10,000 to take care of all my problems. And I've turned it down. I'm like, I don't want your money, Dad. I want you. I want you to be better. I don't want your money. You keep your money, spend it on your health care. I don't want your money. But yet we're still just after his money and stuff. It's getting to the point that as his son, I can legally in my state, I can sign up for things that happen to him medically. If he needs a medical, if he needs surgery done or some kind of medical thing done, I can sign off on that. That's legal. But when it comes to his bills, to his financial, to his home, to his car insurance, all those little things, we can't do that. We're not legally allowed to do that without a power of attorney. And it's getting to the point that we're probably going to have to go through legal means to do that. And I am not looking forward to taking my dad to court because that's what it essentially amounts to.
Yeah. Straight Sif Mel, I know that you're having a bit of a joke and stuff in there. Electrotherapy was mentioned. Now, I don't like that. Obviously, I think it's horrendous. I think it's a barbaric form of treatment, but there is a reason why it's still around, and that is because it can help some people.
Yeah, used properly.
If done properly and for the right conditions. Right. My mother-in-law had a friend who was just horrible, really, for most of her life. And as she got middle age, she kind of went completely doolally. And she wasn't just horrible, but she just was violent, horrible, just nasty, couldn't control herself at all. And they did electrotherapy on her. And my mother-in-law said, honestly, Alex, it was like a completely different person. She was just, it's like it changed her into like just a normal functioning member of society. Yeah. Not that I'm making that as a recommendation, guys.
Exactly.
I think it's an extreme measure for individual extreme cases. As far as I'm concerned, if you think that you have mental health issues, guys, that the first things that you should be doing is seeing your doctor.
Yep.
Correcting your diet, trying to exercise, because that can help. Not for everyone, but it can.
Yeah, because social media and YouTubers, and I'm including Bear and I in this, are not experts, and we can't help you.
Yeah, or go to the bloody doctors. And one thing, what we can help you with is teaching you how to deal with your doctor, because there will be doctors, and I know this because I've been told by some Americans, even some American doctors will try to mug you off, and they'll just try to just give you just the cheapest SSRI that may not even be suitable, not even offer any kind of therapy, or any kind of aftercare. You got to tell them that. Got to tell them straight, right? Ball bag. I want all the information you can provide possible.
Yep.
All the information possible, and then it's just trial and error from there, really.
Bluntly Blondie says Alzheimer's people often talk about money. I've noticed it does seem to be a common symptom of those with Alzheimer's.
Oh God, I used to look after people with Alzheimer's
and dementia of different types. Dad does not have Alzheimer's; he has dementia. But yeah, it does seem to be a common theme with them that they think that things are being stolen constantly. Someone broke into the room and stole this or that, or took their money, or whatever. I don't know why, but it does seem to be common among those people. I've often thought, if I
sorry, mate. Thank you, Maddie, for the disclaimer there.
Exactly. The hosts of this stream are not licensed healthcare practitioners. They do not diagnose illness or prescribe treatment. If you are ill, please see a licensed professional. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. but I've often thought that if I ever do a stream, and I'd like to, for a charity, to raise money for a certain, it would probably be Alzheimer's and dementia would be what I would raise it for, because that has played a big part in my life in recent years because of my father.
Mm.
But not to be depressing, there's nothing sadder than watching the man you've respected most in your whole life go down this road. But
yeah, go see your doctor. Explore the options with your doctor. Don't take no for an answer. Don't take, oh, here's some pills. Take those. Don't take that for an answer. Sit down, discuss with them. There should be services in your local area, hopefully anyway, that provide care, support, or at least information, and read through it. Spend the time. It's worth sitting down, spend the time. Don't be like me, right, and go through every drug known to man.
Bluntly Blondie again says, my grandpa always asked my boyfriends if they made enough money to keep me. It was embarrassing, but my BFs were cool about it. Yeah, be thankful he wasn't my cousin. I had a cousin who's no longer with us now, but when his daughter was coming up, and getting older and dating boys, and I have actually been there when he's done this, so this is a true story. They would come in and he'd say, so you want to take my daughter out, huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, take your pecker out and lay it on the table. He's like, they're like, what? He goes, take your pecker. You can take her out. If you take your pecker out, lay it on the table and let me smash it with a hammer. True story. He would get some of the worst looks, Of course, his daughter would be over there rolling her eyes like, dadgummit, Dad.
Fantastic, that is. Although I've got to say that, is it Bluntly Blondie's grandpa? Like that's a much better thing to be asked when you're being vetted.
Yeah, I can understand it. And as you get older, I have found this out, as you get older, you just don't care as much about what you say. There's less filter on your mouth. It's certainly true in my case, and was true in my mother's case. Oh, Lord have mercy. But, anything that came to that woman's mind, she would say, whether you liked it or not. Red Feather One, yeah, nobody took him up on the offer. No one ever did it. But they were never quite sure if he was kidding or not. But yeah.
I also recommend that what Zombie Teddy's saying as well, guys. I mean, regardless of whether you have like a mental health or whatever, have an MOT, guys. Ask your doctor for a full MOT, a full checkup. Have your bloods tested. Get your knickknacks checked out. Make sure you're up to date on all your medical stuff. Just to make sure, just do that shit every few years.
Yep.
I recently had a full MOT.
Yeah, don't be like me, folks. And I am notoriously stubborn when it comes to going to the doctor. Notoriously stubborn. Don't be like me.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go talk to them. And hell, this is one thing I recently recommended to a friend. If you feel like you are anxious and you don't have the confidence to tell your doctor to piss off and actually help you, I don't know if this is true in America, but here in the UK, NHS GP offices, and hospitals, you can ask for a liaison, an advocate that will go with you, and they'll go with you and they will act in your interest on your behalf if you feel like you need one. If not, take a family member or a friend, somebody who takes you seriously. That's what I'm saying. Someone you trust, because I know what anxiety is like. It's one of the reasons why I don't go outside on my own that often. So you have those options out there, guys.
Yep.
Mm, mm. You can ask for a different doc if you don't like. Yeah, absolutely. But for some people who are like really bad, have really bad anxiety, or just people that just don't want to bother no one, they might not ask for someone else.
Yeah.
So
Red Feather One says you can ask for a different doctor if you don't like yours. Yeah. I'm actually very fortunate. I like my doctor. I've had him for years. So, he knows me as well as any of them can know you, because there's a lot of people in and out of there if it's a busy clinic. But on the same token, my daughters didn't like him because he has very little bedside manner. I like that. I'm like, tell me straight up. Don't beat around the bush. Tell me straight up what's what. Be honest with me. But my daughters didn't like his lack of a bedside manner, so they don't go. So yeah, it's personal preference.
Absolutely. Oh, I read that. Why do many YouTubers tend to have anxiety? I think many YouTubers tend to develop it whilst they are YouTubers. Of course, there are ones who go into doing YouTube with anxiety. I know I certainly did. I suppose YouTubers, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them tend to isolate themselves when they become YouTubers, and they don't get out much. They don't spend much time socializing outside of Twitter and YouTube and live streams and that kind of stuff. And it can happen over a period of time for no reason. And that's the thing with anxiety, is you have to realize, guys, it's not logical. It's not supposed to make sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Exactly. It's easy to stay inside. It's easy to sit there tweeting all day and get bogged down in your own comment sections, or your videos might take you 10, 11 hours, sometimes several days to make. And you might just want to just get on with it and not do anything.
Yeah, which is probably why I kind of naturally fell into this a couple of years ago, because my mother, God rest her soul, always told me ever since I was a much younger man, I should have been a hermit.
Yes, I definitely have a propensity towards that. What's the word I'm looking for? I hate everything used it when he was describing his anxiety. Oh, I got to logic synonyms. I feel like I'm like losing my memory a lot these days. I'm forgetting things. Rational, that's the word I'm looking for. Rational. Is that weird that I'm starting to forget things?
It happens to me all the time. I know there's a word for something, and it'll be just on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't get it.
Like anxiety is not supposed to be rational at all. That's the thing with it. It's very irrational. Like things that you were able to do before, suddenly you're terrified of doing. Like your heart starts racing. Like sometimes it gets so bad you can't even friggin' move. Like walking to the shops on your own. Like just to go pick up some cigarettes or something like that. Well, I used to be able to travel the length of the entire country on my own, on trains, the London Underground, taxis, whatever it took, on my own with a big heavy bag. Was never bothered. I never used to think about it at all. Now, I can't walk to the shop without overthinking it. I actually missed out on an interview once because it got the better of me. I'm not as bad now, but like, I'm getting there. But yeah, I.
Yeah.
Be junkie. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying, mate. Like, I know you can choose a different doctor. You can choose a different doctor here in the UK as well, mate. I'm simply saying that you may be able to do that, and you are able to do that over here. But if you're a meek, extremely anxious individual who's never been to the doctor before about these kind of things, you may not actually have, you may not be able to get the courage to do so. Like you might feel like you're offending somebody or whatever, Does that make sense? Anxiety is like a jump scare. Well, it depends. There are several different versions of anxiety. All of them are very unfucking pleasant things.
Yeah, I've had what I would term as anxiety attacks before. And for me, they were generally a slow burn. It kind of started light and built up. Like, for instance, I can remember one in particular. This is when we were living in a different house than we live now, but I knew that we owed our landlord a lot of money. We were really behind. And the landlord came up, and I had fretted it to the point that I'd worked myself into an anxiety attack, and I actually locked myself in the bedroom and made my wife deal with them because I wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't come out.
No, I know what you're saying, Maddie. I'm just saying there are different ways of experiencing anxiety. What is it with you lot today not getting what I'm saying? Pain in the ass.
I think some of them are just having a go at you, Barry.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Some of them are just having a go at you.
I'll fight the lot of you. I don't give a fuck.
I'll take you on one at a time or singly.
I'll fight you, Maddie. Fight me. No, she'd probably kick my ass.
She might. Yeah. Cubans are infamous for their temper.
Just stab my ass. Perfect Fairy Delusions faints with her anxiety when she goes outside. Like I've experienced different forms of anxiety, man. Oh god, they're all right. The first panic attack I ever had lasted 17 hours, and I thought I was going to die. Yeah. Like it was the typical one that you hear a lot of people describe, where you're sweating, you can't think straight, your heart's pounding, you can't move from the spot. It was awful, man. Couldn't sleep, couldn't function, man.
My wife has, for the last, I don't know, couple of years, have been having these spells off and on where her heart rate increases tremendously, like gets really super fast. And she feels like she's gonna die. It just beats so fast. And I've always said that I think that maybe she's having some form of anxiety attack. That's just my opinion, because I know she's the kind that gets really wound up about the bills and really wound up about this and that. And
I get that.
And it just takes her over. Now she's seen the doctor for it. They swear up and down she's not having an anxiety attack, although they don't know what causes it.
Sounds like anxiety to me.
Yeah.
Although that's a little bit more understandable, though.
And it's not just feelings. It literally goes up because she has a small blood pressure machine, home blood pressure. I can't say it with false teeth. Blood pressure, but it also registers your heartbeats per second or per minute. And she can put that on when she's having one of them, and it'll just be astronomical.
Yeah. No, there's different forms of anxiety. I think that's maybe a little bit more justified, like a little bit more rational, like the kind of fear of not being able to cover bills and whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more rational, but obviously to that level of reaction would probably be genuine anxiety. There are different forms of the stuff, man. You can have massive panic attacks, all the way down to tiny little heart flutters.
Yeah.
Which aren't nice either. But
and she has no idea. They just come, and generally it's when she's trying to sleep. She'll be laying down in bed, and just all of a sudden it just, her heart starts beating 1,000,000 miles a minute, and she can't catch her breath, and this, that, and the other, and she doesn't think that she's particularly worried about anything. So
No, but I experienced that for about 2 weeks. Just over a month ago, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd go to bed. The second I lay down, dun, 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 dun. Nothing on my mind at the time.
Of course, my wife accuses me of not even caring. You don't even care whether we can pay the bills or not, when she goes off, because I take a different approach. I'm like, me worrying about it ain't going to pay it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It ain't going to pay it. So I just as well do everything I can. And, for 59 years, or we've been married for 36. So at least for 36 years, it's always worked out one way or another. It's always worked out. So I'm not going to waste my time worrying about something that I can't change.
I wish it was that easy. To be honest, mate. I guess that's something you learn over time.
Yeah, different people are different, and it doesn't mean that I don't care about it. I do think about it, and I try to think of ways. Okay, how can I pay this? How can we work this out? But I'm not going to let it overtake my life, or at least try not to. Thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. Alex, pay my bills.
Who's Alex?
Cryptic, I'm sure that you're aware of the old saying, "Can't get blood out of a turnip."
Can't get blood out of a stone. It's a saying that I learned. But let's get off that topic for now. I'm sure the audience has had enough of us talking about.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite a while. I've enjoyed it. It's been something different for us, but probably so. We've got about a little under 20 minutes to go yet.
There is a little side I want to talk about.
All right.
I was very happy that Sargon left a comment on my video.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said this video is amazing.
Well, there you go.
I was very happy about that. But Nick Monroe, by the way, guys, everybody should go follow Nick Monroe on Twitter. The guy is just awesome. He creates very long Twitter threads covering stories of all different stripes. He covers YouTube drama all the way up to madness in politics. And there's very informative YouTuber, and I recommend you go follow him. It's at Nick Mon. That's NickMon 1112. Go follow him, guys. He's fucking awesome. But he's created a new thread. And of course, it's about Sargon of Akkad being stripped of his monetization on YouTube, which isn't a good thing. I mean, from what I can see here, what YouTube has done is they've stripped Sargon of his memberships. For those who don't know what memberships are, there's a new function on YouTube. I actually have access to it on my second channel, where you can basically donate on a monthly basis money to your favorite content creators by becoming a member. And it's basically it's like a built-in Patreon thing for YouTubers, except the price tends to be fixed. So it tends to be a bit more like a subscription on Twitch, if anything. I think it's like $5.99. I'll just read the thread to you. Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, is being stripped of monetization on his YouTube channel. This tweet was brought to my attention, and I confirmed membership paused with the peeps working with Sargon. So that must mean someone's flagging his membership. I'm fairly sure that's what's happening. Oh my God, you scared the shit out of me, woman. She just snuck up behind me. What are you doing? I'm going to work. All right, kiss. Give me a text when you get there.
Moody teenager, because he's like, I'll have my phone till 10 o'clock. No, you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
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 Baby. Play off Alfie to watch himself, to watch Thomas, took it off him, and he's having a strap on the bed.
Of course. Right, no, give me a text when you get there, please.
Have a good night, Vanilla.
He says, have a good night. Try. Okay. No night. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to find the rest of this thread because that was just one tweet apparently. Okay. Sargon's actually put up a post on mine. YouTube let us know today that they have demonetized my YouTube channel, which, as you know, is my primary source of income and how I support my family and team. I've always taken care to comply with YouTube's rules, and the only thing I've done differently recently is standing for public office. Companies as large as YouTube have to rely heavily on algorithms that are vulnerable to mass reporting from malicious actors. Given how much of a hate mob has been stirred up against me due to the frankly dishonest reporting about my candidacy, it is hardly a surprise that this has happened. There's a 30-day period after which YouTube will consider my appeal, and I will cooperate fully with whatever procedure they put in place to achieve a restitution. I have had very few community strikes in the last few years, and my channel spends most of its time in good standing. My team and I are in touch with YouTube, and I'm confident we will rectify the misunderstanding soon. There you go. And if anybody wants to take a look at that, I don't know if you follow Sargon on Minds, but there's a tweet that's a screenshot of that.
I haven't been on Minds in forever.
I just dump links there.
I used to be on it constantly, but I don't know. And no reason. I just haven't.
That's so gay.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can I say poor Sargon?
I'm sure Sargon will be fine anyway
Yeah.
in terms of money. I mean, he uses Subscribe Star, doesn't he?
I think so.
I have Subscribe Star, but I've not really been using it because I'm a dick. Sargon, there we are. Let's have a look at him. How much does he get on there? Oh, it doesn't say, but he does have 2,430 subscribers. So, and I think that he probably gets a fair wedge through that. He's obviously not on Patreon. He's choosing not to show how much he gets, which is fair enough. That's his monthly wage. He probably makes a decent amount on through ad revenue and things like super chat and whatnot. So it looks like they've done more than just pause his membership function. I think they've done more than that then, by the sounds of it. I'll go to his Minds actually and see if he said anything else. Sorry, just excuse me, guys, for a moment.
No, you're fine.
Mine's a little bit slow. It's full of porn. Mine is pretty much the new Tumblr, in my opinion, except for way more right-wing politics. Oh, no, it's just the same post. Just the same post.
Right-wing porn, random Americans.
It's the best kind of porn.
Yeah, lots of American flags and guns.
It's patriotism. There's guns. There's the Confederate flag. But they've got Confederate flag underpants and bras and knickers on. If it's the American national anthem playing for Americans, and Rule Britannia for the Brits. Oh God!
Guaranteed to make you stand at attention.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
It's for the American right-wing porn. It's just it's a couple like fucking whilst also shooting at extreme weather.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything more American. I don't know. Whenever I think of the Queen, my little soldier always that tension. Well, I hope so. Ferry. I hope so. That just means that you're on the right side of history, sir.
Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left. Questions?
Toasted Network. The Confederate flag is not American, even though it's flown by Americans fighting other Americans.
Toasted, I can go through my neighborhood here and go out to the next major road, which is about 5 blocks away. And in that 5 blocks, I guarantee you I can see at least half a dozen Confederate flags. At least. often on the same flagpole as the American flag. So, yeah,
As far as I know, it's a southern American thing.
yeah, it's
Southern pride.
It's just Southern pride is what it means for most people. Bloodwing, how do you keep your beard so soft? It's genetics, man, just genetics. Which is funny you mentioned that, because my grandkids have always, especially when they're much smaller, have this fascination with running their fingers through my beard as they sit in my lap. RJ Banzma, can we prank Kyle Busch? You can prank whoever you want. Go ahead.
If you've got his number,
I
guess. Doesn't he just like spend most of his time painting?
Who, Kyle Busch?
George Bush.
Oh, she met Kyle Busch, who's a NASCAR driver.
Oh, I heard Bush.
Yeah.
I was thinking George Bush. How do I keep my underbeard so soft? I have facial hair, mate. I shave.
Push button says, Bloodwing, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done? Probably would figure that I've punched somebody. Honestly.
What's the most patriotic porn you've ever watched? I don't know. I don't know. Should we have some questions for 8 minutes? Bloodwing?
Do what?
Should we have some questions for 8 minutes?
Yeah.
And then close it up?
Absolutely. RJ Banmo, would I want to meet Richard Petty? Yeah, just because, he's a fellow redneck, and he was one heck of a driver.
Push button asks a good question. What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable? A belt that you've partially done up, 3 small tubs of lubricant, 8 different types of bleach, some cat food, and a box of paracetamol. I think that would get you some strange looks.
For it gets us a cucumber, some condoms, hot sauce, and KY jelly.
See, it's too obvious. It's too obvious when you put it like that. You have to make them think.
Like,
in fact, buy a leash, buy a dog leash, dog food bowls, some dog food, all the bleach that you can find, some paracetamol, and a belt that you've already partially done up. Oh, and some black masking tape. That'll get them guessing. What's going on with the petition for lifetime ban spare? Well, I should do a refresh. It's now at 40,246. It keeps going up as well. Excuse me.
Maddie says chocolate, whipped cream, jumper cables, and rope.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting blood in it just thinking about that. James goes, everything Bear said plus a stuffed animal. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Push button. Imagine you're a mad scientist. What scientific experiment would you run if money and ethics weren't an issue? I would run an experiment to see if Antifa actually had brains.
You're going to make them sit a math test or something?
No. If money and ethics weren't a problem, I'd just cut their heads open. Just cut them open. Is there really a brain in there?
Oh, I will look now for Pro Jared's sub count, which I was actually watching fall to pieces.
Yeah, I've seen that going on Twitter. I have no clue who Pro Jared is. I really
Listen to this, Bubbing, right? I had no idea who he was until this morning. Oh my God, he's lost so many subs. And within a space of, oh my God, it's going down even more. And within a space of, I don't know, half an hour, I discovered who he was, who he worked with, what his channel was about, what like his team was called, who he'd worked with before, his wife, the girl he'd been banging behind his wife's back, and I saw his penis.
Oh. Yeah, that's all I know about it, is that I guess he was cheating on his wife, who used to be another YouTuber's wife.
Yeah,
I don't know, which tells me all I need to know. I have absolutely zero respect for someone that would cheat on their significant other. I have no respect for cheaters. I don't. I just don't. No respect. I don't even have to know you that well, and already I'm like, yeah, you're a piece of crap. Let's see. Toasted Network, a person banned me on Twitter. I found out I was the only one he did. Now I feel sad about what should I do. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't. Your life worth is not measured by how many people follow you on Twitter or whatever.
Mm-hmm. In terms of that Pro Jared guy, I don't know who he is. I've never watched him. His content isn't up my alley anyway. Probably never would have. Been, you know, I don't particularly care about him cheating. If I did like him and I watched his content, I don't think that would have taken away anything for me. It doesn't affect me. It's just like, all right, well, you screwed the pooch there, mate. But what does get me about the guy is the fact that he dumped her, like ditched his wife via tweet.
Yeah.
Which is so much worse than a text message, because like he's got a big ass following,
Right.
And that's a pretty scummy thing to do.
Yeah, at least a text message would be private.
Like I think the tweet is probably worse than the cheating, in my opinion, because you know at least when you're cheating, you're probably not going to get caught, you know, and of course there's the allegations about him having like a Snapchat and getting nudes from underage audience members. And if that's the case, then he can go fuck himself.
Thank you, James Colley, again for the donation. What if the person you're cheating on isn't significant? LOL. Well, then I guess you're really not cheating. If the
what's weird, man, he punched down.
That's what I'm seeing from the chat. I really didn't follow it that much. I looked and I seen it on Twitter, and I'm like, who the heck is this, and why do I care?
Yeah, I just don't care. I mean, the child's the underage stuff is a very concerning. That's probably the only real part that actually concerns me at all. But he punched down.
Yeah,
like his missus is fine. Like she's a sexy bitch, and the girl that he banged, it looked like me with long hair.
Yeah, but you make a sexy nurse, dude.
Yeah, I know. Like that bitch ain't got nothing on my thighs. I'm just saying.
Toasted Network again. What do you think about people that are in a polygamous marriage? Hey, whatever they want to do, man, as long as they're not hurting somebody. What you do in your bedroom is none of my business. I couldn't do it. I'm too much the jealous type. But yeah,
yeah, same. So he pulled a Tiger Woods. Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say she was like super hot, but she's a lot hotter than the thing that he'd been banging on the side.
Yeah. Push button is cereal soup. No, and we don't have time in the stream to argue the point. But no, it's not soup.
That's a dirty tactic, Bloodwing. They can't even make an argument about it.
See what I did there? Well, it's their fault for bringing it up so late in the stream.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Maybe she does butt stuff. Are you telling me that you couldn't find someone on the equal level that does butt stuff when you're that like big of a YouTuber? You're like you have the clout, dude. You have the clout. You have the money. You know, I'm fairly sure you can find someone a dirty little minx. I don't know. There's also allegations of abuse, but again, it's allegations. Can't really prove anything.
Like I said, I just really didn't know who this person was, so I couldn't bring myself to care enough to look it up.
I saw that man's penis before I saw his content. You gotta love the internet, right?
Yeah, exactly. Priorities.
I know, right?
Penis first.
He's seen him as well, by the way. Like, he's not a good-looking guy. He's not, man. He's it's like somebody smashed the sides of his head with sledgehammers, and his face just kind of pointed outwards. His sub count's still going down, man. He had over 1 million subscribers this morning, and now he's at 969,200,000. Sorry, 969 200,000. Yeah.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Ugly people need love too. So
ugly people do need love, but like, come on, mate. You've punched above your weight to get your misses, and then you punch down. What are you doing?
I'm not going to cheat on my wife. I'm just not that kind of person. Couldn't do it. But if I were, it sure wouldn't be with someone that was uglier than her.
I should bloody well hope so as well. But we went over time.
Yes, we have. And that happens when you're having fun.
It does.
And I was having fun.
Good.
But thank you, chap, for coming out and supporting the stream with your presence and your likes and shares and whatnot. Thank you to those that were able to go a step beyond and contribute to the fund, to the Pay Bloodwings Bills funds. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Bear, for showing up when you could.
That's not a problem, mate.
And anything that you do, I know you didn't get the content you were working on today done, but anything you want to share?
If you guys haven't seen my video response to the Jess Phillips Sargon situation, I mean, I released it yesterday, so I've not caught by that time I hadn't caught up on the petition and stuff, but I had a lot of fun making it. It involves a puppet show and me jumping around, and you get to see my underpants. So there you go. Go give it a watch. If you
That's worth the price of admission right there, people.
My ass.
To just go see Bear in his underwear.
Jumping up and down,
Yeah. Well, and again, to all my subscribers, everybody that showed up out there, thank you once again. This stream could not exist without you, and that's the truth. But having said that, as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.